Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am John Burke, your host of the American Savage Show podcast, and I'm still recovering from yesterday. That was a hell of an interview with Andy. I got so motivated from that.
I did too.
It was good. Give me a sound check on you.
Hello, how are ya?
Gotcha, you beautiful son of a bitch, you. Oh my God, I'm still in recovery. That was an insane, intense interview. I woke up motivated to do that one because I know, I just woke up with the biggest erection, had the best sex with myself. It was great. And somebody with his fire and his passion, it just it resonates. It's just
more people like that.
We do, we really do, and I appreciate that. Of course, people will be like, "Oh my God, all that dude does is rants and yada yada." No, but he makes some really good, valid points, and I love his zeal and enthusiasm. And so it was a pleasure for Andy to come on the podcast.
He's put a lot on the line.
He has, yeah.
It's.
I respect the hell out of that. He's doing what a lot of people are afraid to do.
Yep. Good for him.
Oh, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in and listening to us on your way to work, or if you're at home taking care of the kids, or if you're up in New York or California screaming about the fact that you can't get an abortion in Texas. I know that's really bothering you right now, but tough shit. That's just the way it goes. And if you don't like it, don't come to Texas. And if you're here and you don't like it, move out of Texas. You won't be missed. I feel like we should normalize the term cunt more. Totally out of left field, I know, but I genuinely feel that the term cunt should just be used more. We need to normalize that. We need to bring it back. Mm-hmm. I think the British have it right. Oh, I can't.
Circle back around to that.
We're going to circle back around to that, yeah. Got a lot of news to get to. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are dropping the new bomb drops for dogs, or pets rather. It's peanut butter flavored. It's 500 milligrams. It drops today, actually. So if you have the pet chews, we also now offer a tincture version. We had a lot of people making that request. Mm-hmm. That's what I love about this company, is that when we, on the Facebook group, we get a lot of feedback. You can look us up at Shell Shock CBD. It's a private Facebook group. And that's where we go to get a lot of feedback on the products that people want to see released, flavors they want, things like that. So if you want to have input in the company, we are more than welcoming feedback for those on what you want to see. And we're not doing penis gummies. We've had that request more than anything. We're not doing penis gummies. That's not going to happen. So
the flavor was toss up between crotch and peanut butter.
And what you do with it after that is none of my business. I have no involvement in that, but That's what's going on. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching, do me a favor, head on over to Apple Podcasts and look up the All American Savage Show podcast and leave us a review. We really appreciate it. It helps bump up the podcast in the charts. And we're growing pretty damn quick. I'm watching the viewer count or the listening count on SoundCloud just go up exponentially as the days go by. So it's because of you that the voices are getting out there, and I am incredibly grateful. We've got a treat for you today. We're doing a morning podcast as normal, and then this afternoon at 1 p.m. CST, we have Libertarian presidential candidate of 2016, Austin Peterson, coming on the show. He's going to weigh in on what's going on with current events. I want to see what he's up to these days, where his stances are, and it's always a good time to have Austin on. He's very articulate, very educated, a very good opinion. He's the one that turned me on to Milton Friedman, and we've had him on the podcast a few times.
Yeah, he's a super smart guy.
He really is.
He was up in Missouri, right?
I think, yeah.
Yeah, he was running for...
He went for presidency, then he went for Congress, and
he's a super smart guy.
He is, and that's why people don't want him.
Yeah.
So people don't like seeing that. Yeah. Somebody asked for beard oil. We're actually going to be doing a CBD beard oil. It's actually coming soon. So yeah, we appreciate the feedback and everybody listening in. Oh man, I'm still tired. I just feel after that podcast yesterday, I felt drained. Just you're being turned on for 2 hours of just going go 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 go.
Yeah.
It's fuck. I felt as soon as it ended, I needed a cigarette and a towel. And it's I should just clean myself up. It was amazing. It was so fucking amazing.
Clean yourself up.
Clean yourself up. Here's a towel. Clean yourself up, you slut. That's the way it works. And that is why we'll never be on Fox.
I don't want to be.
Oh, my God. I mean, it would be, yeah. Okay, let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. Democrats have painted the right as being racists since I can remember. It really blew up under the Trump administration that Democrats painted Republicans as wanting to pawn minorities, use them in this gambit between left versus right, which I think both sides do for the most part. But this story broke, I think it was yesterday. Now, for those that are not paying attention, Larry Elder is currently running against Gavin Newsom in the recall in California going on right now. Larry Elder, for those that don't know, is a black conservative. And the reason I bring up his skin color is because right now, this story broke yesterday. You can still Google it. It's still mainstream in the news. And the article is, and if you watch this video, it's very infuriating. Larry Elder egged by woman in gorilla mask in racist attack in California. So if you watch the video, Larry Elder is walking past a homeless place that he was visiting, which is rampant in California, by the way. He was walking by this homeless encampment, and a woman in a white, fat, liberal woman in a gorilla mask threw eggs at him. Okay, now that's technically assault. I mean, that's assault. Whether you like it or not, that's assault. A white, liberal woman in a gorilla mask approached Larry Elder and threw eggs at him.
It looked like a whole group of people.
No, I mean there was a whole group. There was it was all white, and they looked like drug heads. I mean, they look like fucking losers.
Really?
They look just like just not really the best that society has to offer. And if you watch this video, it's just like, wow. Number one, I'm asking, what the fuck was the security team afraid of?
I know.
Like that fat little white liberal cunt should have been harambeed. Like, should have. The fact that she launched that egg and that dude approaches her. Like, watch the video and it will get your blood boiling. His security team should be fired. Like, they are fucking worthless. Like, that woman should have had a fucking knuckle sandwich to the fucking face and put on the ground. I'm sorry. No, that's not, you don't tolerate that. And then the security guy is like some older dude with gray hair, approaches this woman, and then she's like, don't touch me, don't touch me. And then she smacks him. Mm-hmm. And then some other, like, meth head looking dude, missing teeth, walks up and smacks him again. Not Larry Elder, the security guy. It's like, what kind of security are you running where you allow them to assault you and your client? Mm. I got a lot of friends in private security, and they, all of them are like, that never would have flown. Never. Like, a beatdown would have ensued, and justifiably so. I mean, a lot of these fuckers, they just need their ass whooped. That's just what it boils down to. You can watch this video. It's on Breitbart right now. CNN's not really covering it very much. Of course not.
Yeah, right.
Surprise, surprise. Fox is definitely all over it. And it's sad to see this. It's such a shame because this is clearly I mean, you could probably label this a hate crime.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I looked at this from the optics. Okay, look, was this really racially motivated? Well, a woman walks up in a gorilla mask and lobs an egg at Larry Elder, and it's kind of like, that's not a good optic.
Like, that's your tactics?
Like that, yeah.
Are these the people you're supporting?
Yeah, right? Like, these are people you want in office? Or these are people that, you want to trust their... Yeah. It's just mind-boggling to me. We need more violence in this country, honestly. The right needs to get violent. I'm going to say it. I don't fucking care. The right needs to get violent.
That's all it's going to take is just somebody like that who gets...
popped in the fucking head.
Socked right in the face.
Mm-hmm. And deservedly so. Yeah. I mean, you attack the fucking dude that's running. I don't like Gavin Newsom, but I mean, and when I say attack, I mean in self-defense. I'm not saying going out there and fucking just waylaying liberals.
But I'm saying
if somebody pops you, fucking hit him back. Like, shoot back. That's the other part that just like blows me away. So, but yeah, these people, they surround him, all white liberals, gotta love it. And Larry Elder's walking down the street, just doing his thing, meeting the homeless population, I guess, and hearing their complaints. And he gets attacked. And this is the state of California. And then Gavin Newsom goes out there in this rally. He walks out to Tupac. Like, if you watch this video of Newsom walk, I think Amory King, a friend of mine, posted a video on his Instagram. If you go to The King Has Spoken on Instagram and you watch the video, it is the most cringe white shit I have ever seen in my entire life. Like, I can somewhat dance. I can somewhat carry a tune. But I see shit like this and like, bro, you are so fucking white. Stop. What are you doing? Politics aside, you are embarrassing white people everywhere. We already have a bad stereotype and stigma that we can't dance. We have no rhythm. And then this douchebag comes walking out on the stage in Tupac. And I'm just like, and might I point out, no mask. Wearing no mask. And then it's in the news yesterday that Joe Biden goes to visit the hurricane-damaged areas. I think it was New York.
Yeah.
And then he does his press brief, and he's got crying Chuck Schumer standing right next to him. You can't see his hands because I'm pretty sure they're down below stroking Biden. And Biden's sitting there saying, there was nobody yelling. There was no complaint. They were happy. They were grateful, and I'm sure I'm being genuine. They were happy to see us. And Schumer's just sitting there. By the way, they're all in very close proximity, violating 6-foot mandates, and Biden's not wearing a mask. No. And Schumer is just sitting there nodding his head up and down like, nope, there were no complaints. And then I post the video on my Instagram, and it flashes to where Biden is standing in the middle of the road talking to, I think, first responders, and you hear people like, you left Americans behind. We'll leave you behind. Like, they are legitimately screaming their asses off at this cocksucker. And then he has the audacity to say, nobody was screaming. It's like, Biden, I understand that you're probably accustomed to hearing people insult you. That's not people supporting you. That's people against you. That's not what you want. That's, in fact, the opposite of what you want. But he gets up there, and the audacity of these lies to just sit there. It's like, bro, the internet doesn't forget.
He's been doing this his entire career.
Oh, yeah. I don't work for you. This isn't
before he had Alzheimer's. Back in the 80s, he was ripping people's speeches off.
Yes, plagiarism. That's why he dropped out of that presidential.
He graduated in the top percent of his law class. Like, okay.
You know, a lot of people go to school for 7 years. Yeah, I know. They're called congressmen, and they're all fucking worthless. And this is why we're never going to be on Fox. Oh, my God. So critics are lambasting the woman who was seen on camera wearing a... Where's the investigation for this, first of all? If we have Jussie Smollett creating the biggest fucking hoax...
Bubba
Wallace, you know, the fake news. Like, when that shit hit... The NASCAR driver, like
FBI.
The supposed noose that was hanging there, and then all of like the white fucking conservative crowd that was like, "Oh man, we don't want to be thought of as racist, so we should stand behind him on this." Meanwhile, like anybody with common sense, because at first when you see the picture of the supposed noose, they blew it up to make it look big. It was as big as my finger going through the hole. And that was because that's how they hook stuff on to raise and lower it. FBI got involved. It was like a national freaking crisis. Like, oh my God, they're being racist towards a black NASCAR driver. Like, really? Of all people to be racist towards a black NASCAR, it's a white sport. Like, really? Like, you're gonna be racist towards a black NASCAR driver? Like, he's pretty much white. I mean, if you're driving in the NASCAR, like, really? Like, okay. But they have that in the news. But this happens in California. And damn you Democrats are quiet. Like, Democrats have been... Crickets, yes. They have been so fucking quiet. Nothing. So goddamn quiet. Like, your administration is tanking. It's just like... And I talked about it with Andy yesterday. We need 4 years of Biden. I mean, you guys are giving me the greatest content in the world. Like, I literally just open up my browser every morning. Josh and I have no prior show planned. We just open up topics, and that's what we discuss right off the cuff, right on the fly. And every day, I can count on CNN and Fox News giving me the best bullshit to cover. And it's so easy. It's so fucking easy. So easy a grunt can do this. Critics are lambasting, I should say conservative critics, are lambasting the woman who was seen on camera wearing a gorilla mask while throwing an egg at California Jesus Christ. I can't even say this word. Gubernatorial. He's running for governor. Anonymity. There we go. Oh, damn. Look at
that. Anonymity.
Candidate Larry Elder as he toured a homeless encampment in Los Angeles. A blatant racist wearing a gorilla mask attacked Larry Elder. These people are completely unhinged. Former Republican candidate of the Virginia House of Delegates Jeffrey A. Dove tweeted in response to the video of the incident. And again, it's all over Twitter. And the left is going to try and bury this. They're going to try and cover this up. They're not going to address it because God forbid you would do that. Now, here's the thing. To be completely fair, I can't paint all of Democrats as how this idiot in the gorilla mask is. But it does say a lot when your entire movement is like tone deaf on this. Like, you're really quiet. You're not saying much. Like, it's very funny to hear like a lot of prominent Democrats on social media, especially the blue check marks on Twitter. By the way, follow me at Twitter at Sergeant Savage. Let's get me verified. Let's get me some following over there. I need more people to want to listen to this. I just troll over there.
Let's do something else. Let's see how long it takes before you get kicked off again.
I've actually been good. I posted a Delta 8. Okay, so apparently I'm going totally off script here, like we even have a fucking script. I had a lot of messages last night about Delta 8 from females that said it was intensifying their orgasms.
I saw that.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm going to start posting these. And I kept it private, and then Instagram deleted one of them, gave me a strike against my account, but I don't know why. Like, I have been censored so goddamn bad, it's ridiculous. Like, this is the age to where, I can't say it live on Twitch right now, but I'm not even going to go there. I'll get banned. I'm just saying that... Yeah, I guess it was promoting Delta 8, which is completely legal in all but like 12 states. And yeah, there was various women all commenting or all sending me DMs saying, yes, I use this. One woman said she was 8 months postpartum. Orgasms weren't as good for her. And then she said she took the Delta 8 and holy shit, like she and her husband like woke up the kid from freaking how hard they were going at it. Like, Delta 8 is incredible, ladies. I'm not even playing. Like, I told people the first time I had sex on Delta 8, right as I was nutting, I was seeing lightning streaks. Like I'm not even lying. I've never lied to my audience to push a product.
Okay.
I'm just saying, and Josh was feeling it too. Like we were going at it like crazy. It was amazing. Like I was grabbing onto his beard, he was smacking me around, and we said some things that we can't take back. And I regret a few of them, but I felt like
I don't regret one single thing. Here we are.
But yeah, so Delta 8. That's on shellshockcbd.com. We have the Halo gummies, the chocolate. I'm telling you, like guys, girls, children. No, not children. Can't do it with children. Can't give them. It's illegal for children. I was going to say children of all ages, but no, I can't say that. Guys, women, and men, 18 and above, 18 and older.
21 for Delta 8.
But the law says 18.
Does it?
For most people, for most states. And we have a verification process on the website.
Yeah.
Wink, 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 wink. It says you must confirm that you were 21 or older. So if you click it, you confirm you're 21.
Okay.
As I drink my coffee. Mm-hmm. As I drink my coffee and remain silent. Fuck the government. But yeah, the responses were freaking great. Just let me see if I can pull them up real quick. Like I was reading these and I fucking died laughing. And I posted them on my Instagram stories.
We put out such great Delta 8 products.
Yeah, and that's why it's blown the fuck up. It says, okay, so I was a bit skeptical after the message you shared from someone else about his girl finally getting an orgasm, but I shouldn't have been skeptical at all. The difference between with and without was completely recognizable. And another woman said, I can also vouch for this. My new vibrator can't come fast enough. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, we have to launch Shell Shock After Dark.
Yeah,
like we really have, we need to do like a CBD adult toys.
Yeah.
Make like the bomb from our bomb drops like a little vibrator with like a drop-in vibrator.
There you go.
That might not be a bad idea.
I think something just happened right now. I think we just captured lightning in a bottle, my friend. Keep going.
I mean, people, like, I don't know why they send me these. I mean, I do know why, but I have never lied to my audience. I refuse to do it. So when I sit here and I stand behind Delta 8 and I say, this shit is amazing, and they send me these messages like, I was skeptical. I was like, why would you be skeptical? When have I ever lied to you? When have I ever lied to you about a product? I've never done that. I've also said that sometimes CBD doesn't work for everybody. For the overall majority, it has, though. Mm-hmm. But the Delta 8, like, oh my, I think I've spoke with like one person who said they didn't feel the Delta 8, which I don't know how. Like, I really don't. Like, Josh, like, we've said this before, Josh is our token stoner. Like, Josh smokes weed. And Josh has even said that the Delta 8 fucks you up.
Oh, it's good. It's just a different feeling.
Yeah.
Where you don't get the paranoia. It's a lot more relaxing.
I think a lot of stoners out there try and like talk down about Delta 8 to make themselves feel good. It's like, I smoked the real thing.
More Delta 9.
Yeah, I mean, to each their own. I get it, but I'm telling you, someone like me, like I take Delta 8 almost every night before I go to bed. I have amazing. Yeah. Like I wake up feeling good and refreshed. I feel just fucking great.
It is good stuff.
Oh, it is. I get the giggles.
Plus, we've got some other products coming out like Doritos.
I haven't told people about those.
Oh, you
yet.
haven't?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
They're gonna be excited about it.
Like these are some good stuff.
We're legal
stuff.
drug dealers, dude. I love this. I love the fact that we are legal drug dealers.
Well,
I feel like we should like hire some prostitutes to like hang out on the corners around the shop, and like people walk up and like, "What you want? What you want?" Former combat infantryman turned drug dealer, and I feel like this could be like a Nicolas Cage movie, like Lord of Guns or some shit like that. Like John Burke becomes the Lord of CBD, and he start running like illegal operations out of
Lord of Delta 8.
Lord of Delta 8. Lord of the Delta. Oh my God, Tears of the Delta. ShellshockCBD.com. Oh my God, you gotta love it. But yeah, a lot of mainstream conservatives came out tweeting about the Larry Elder attack, and of course, Democrats, they're not saying a word. Congressionals are not saying a peep because, again, to acknowledge this means you have to acknowledge the fact that there are white racist liberals, which, according to Democrats, I think as a whole, they think their party is not racist, doesn't even harbor racism. It's like, yeah, no, you kind of do. You kind of do. So, oh, and don't forget, code Burke will save you 10% off your first Shell Shock CBD order, or any CBD order, honestly, to include Delta 8. So there's that.
In September.
By the way, if you subscribe using code SUB, S-U-B, yeah, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is time. It is September. And what we're doing for this month is that you can use code SUB and you can save yourself 20% by subscribing to Shell Shock CBD. That's right. Are you touching yourself right now? I'm not. That comes later after the show. I might even do it during the show. Who knows? But September, using code SUB, S-U-B. Spit in my mouth, daddy. I've scarred all of our audience. Thank you for the donations and bits over on Twitch. Big news right now. Not only, okay, so props to Governor Greg Abbott. At least he's doing something, but it took you fucking long enough. You've been in office for damn near 4 years, and it took you long enough, but now he's coming out swinging. But, it's re-election year.
He's got Alan West hot on his heels.
He does.
Alan West is a formidable component.
He is. I think West is going to bump Prather out. I really do. I think Prather's going to wind up pulling out and bumping and going supporting West, which would be a smart move. I think it'd be smart. I think West is the guy to do it. I mean, I hope. Texas governor signs voting restrictions bill into law, and Democrats lose their shit, basically saying this is waste. That's racist. That's so racist. Texas Republican Governor Greg Abbott on Tuesday signed into law a bill that bans 24-hour and drive-through voting, imposes new hurdles on mail-in ballots, and empowers partisan poll watchers. The restrictive voting measures adds Texas to the list of Republican-controlled states that have seized on former President Donald Trump's lies about widespread. Again, this comes from CNN Politics. So keep that in mind. You want to talk about propaganda 101. This is it right here. Republican-controlled states that have seized on former President Donald Trump's lies about widespread voter fraud and clamped down on access to the ballot box this year. Again, they keep saying it's restrictive. No, it's not restrictive. It's ensuring that only legal citizens can vote. They always do this. Democrats do this. They try and change the narrative, and they try and deflect with these other terms. Say, for example, the pro-abortion people out there that want to murder their babies. Hey, to sit there and all these women coming out like, oh, this isn't about saving life. Because what they automatically do is say, well, if Republicans cared so much about the lives of the unborn, they would care about them after they're born. That's not our responsibility. But what about all the healthcare programs that we pay into that Democrats installed? And that's what AOC and her ilk of retards try and do. They try and paint it like, well, I mean, if you cared about universal health care, all Republicans are saying is that we just want more personal responsibility to be accepted by our society. And the government should not be your safety net. It shouldn't. So, yeah. The election overhaul in Texas comes as Republicans seek to hold on to power in a rapidly changing state where people of color make up virtually all of the population growth. People of color? You mean minority?
First of all, a majority of Americans agree with election reform. They agree with voter IDs. So this isn't something that's this is a very small percentage, which is mostly comprised of Democrats.
Oh yeah,
I would say all Democrats.
Why would you want to change the rules to the game that you're currently winning?
Yeah,
absolutely. They're trying to stack the odds in their favor. That's all they try and do.
That's all they try to do.
That's all they try and do. It's getting to a point there. I was telling them, I think it was Andy or I forget who it was, but I was basically saying if another election goes down and there is proof of voter fraud as there was, throughout the 2020 election, and Republicans feel like the system is now against them and it's stacked and there's no winning, what option do they have after that except to get violent?
What's next?
That's literally it. That's the last straw. If these reforms don't go through and people continue to feel cheated, like their vote no longer matters, they're going to get violent. Whether it be true or not, it's just the perception of such. So a lot of these Democrat-controlled states need to do this, because the more you fight against this, the right has been pushed and pushed and pushed. You've had Antifa coming on the scenes, and then Democrats don't say anything about that, and then Proud Boys spawn a result of that to combat Antifa, and then Democrats condemn them as being racist and all this other stuff. So it's kind of like when the right starts fighting back, it's going to get bloody. It's going to get bad. Yeah, and almost to the point where it's you just look at this and it's a powder keg.
Yep.
It's a fucking powder keg. And it's sad to see this. But why wouldn't you be in favor of stricter voting regulation that enables people to feel good, like their vote actually counts, like they're not being lied to, like there is no corruption? I mean, there's always going to be corruption. I mean, there's
always going to be some level of corruption, but you got to do something to make sure most of the votes, majority of the votes, are just actual real votes, not mail-in ballots.
I think because mail-in was originally just for absentee ballots for the military.
Right.
I don't agree with mail-in. I think even Trump called it. He said the mail-in thing is going to be botched.
Yeah.
Because
he said you're going to be counting votes for money. He was absolutely 100% right in his prediction of the debacle that happened on election.
Well, he just came out too. I think it was yesterday, the day before. I listened to the clip. I forget who was interviewing, but he basically said if California is going to be a rigged election. He's calling it. He's like, but we'll see. We'll watch and see what happens.
Well, it's Democratic controlled. I mean, why would they want? They're not going to give up that jewel.
No. California just needs to break off into the ocean. Hollywood included.
What has Newsom done for the state that has made it better? Nothing?
Lockdowns out the ass. And we're going to get to Biden's freaking thing on COVID.
They've been talking about forest management for like 10 years. Why hasn't he done anything with it? You still have forest fires. That's the first thing he said. He said, you got to go out there, you got to clean
Greg
the forest
Abbott
floor.
for the random winter storm that hit us last winter. And they're like, oh, Greg Abbott's a horrible leader because of that, y'all weren't prepared for that winter storm. Like the winter storm that we have never seen the likes of in my entire lifetime.
Yeah.
Like, oh, wow, he's such a horrible leader because we got hit with a random snowstorm. And Democrats use that against Abbott. And then they go into, that's because you don't support climate change. It's just like, oh, my God. But meanwhile, California is just rampant with wildfires and nobody.
My pool guy, I was like, what can I do? He's like, I don't know. I've been doing this for 25 years. I've never seen this. So he's like, yeah, your guess is as good as mine.
We were all kind of like, weather. Oh, shit. Like I remember, like I filled up my bathtub with water because I was like, the pipes are probably going to freeze. I started like saving a bunch of water, but luckily my power didn't go out, but I lost water. So it was kind of like, all right. So
I was fortunate. We didn't lose anything.
Son of a bitch.
I cranked the heat all the way up. Took a hot shower.
I stayed warm. I was just dirty. I was using wet wipes to do a little whore's bath, but I'm not above that.
Because you're a whore.
I am a whore. Democrats have fled the Capitol in Austin for weeks in an effort to try and stymie the bill, first preventing the passage of a similar measure at the end of the state's regular legislative session in May. Y'all remember that when all the Democrats fled and went to D.C.? On the taxpayer dime, and they got into the private jet, no masks, and then a lot of them tested positive for COVID.
Shooting pollution all over the sky.
Yeah, like the chemtrails and like
raining down pollution on us peasants.
That got like silenced quick. Like that, I mean, the Afghanistan withdrawal debacle is like, we're over it now. We're moved on to other shit now. Biden's trying to
5 days ago.
It was like 4 or 5 days ago.
Let's move on,
We're gonna move on. We're going to move on. I don't know what's going on anymore. They told me not to answer any questions. My Biden impersonation is just
still trying to dial it in.
I am.
It's a mix between Harry Carey.
Yeah. I think the Biden should just be this.
The old pervert from The Family Guy.
How about a popsicle? It does make it easier than ever before for anybody to go cast a ballot. It does also, however, make sure it is harder than ever for people to cheat at the ballot box, Abbott said at an event at which he signed the bill into law. Opponents of the Senate Bill 1 said its provisions will I'm guessing they're going to say it's to get to disproportionately affect minorities. I haven't even read the article, and I'm guaranteeing that's what they're going to say. It will disproportionately restrict voting access for marginalized voters. That's what we're calling it now. Marginalized. So what they're saying, essentially, ladies and gentlemen, is that black people and minorities and people of color are too stupid to vote. That's what they're saying here. How is this going to disproportionately impact minorities? Because what I've had debates on this is that people are saying, well, they don't have the money to go out and get an ID. It's like, what? What? Like, you're saying that black people are that stupid and that poor? Marginalized voters? Okay.
They can pull out their smartphone.
They can pull out their fucking smartphone, pull out their fucking social security card. I mean, come on.
Look up on maps where you can go to vote.
The new law takes aim at Harris County, the home of Houston, which last year offered drive-through voting and 24-hour early voting. The bill restricts the hours counties can offer up early voting to between 6 a.m. and 10 p.m., and it prohibits tactics like the ones Harris County used in 2020 when a garage at a Toyota Center, the home of the NBA's Houston Rockets, was among the venues used as a place residents could vote from their vehicles. The bill also blocks counties from sending unsolicited mail-in voting applications, even to those who are over the age of 65. Therefore, qualify automatically by vote-in-mail. It also places new rules around mail-in voting, increases protections for partisan poll watchers, and sets new limits on those who help voters, including those with disabilities, to cast their ballots. Like, CNN is trying to say, like, oh, this is how horrible, but you read this, and it's like, these are actually good things. Like, I agree with these.
I know.
And Democrats, you should as well, because if it becomes to, like, a Republican-controlled Congress, you certainly wouldn't want the sword swinging the other way, so why wouldn't you be for fair and balanced elections? This makes no sense. But again, when you're winning, why change the rules?
They're just scumbag. There are no rules.
Yeah.
Whatever rules that they come up with, they switch them around in the middle of the game.
Yeah.
So Democrats are good at fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Dirty fighters.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They're dirty fighters. They'll kick you in the balls,
and they
pull
feel
your
like
hair.
they feel like they're justified in doing so because why not combat supposed racists and fascists?
They're greater good.
I mean, you go on Twitter, man. Oh my God! Like Twitter is a cesspool of the worst scum of society.
Yeah, they're pretty evil.
It's bad. Like, oh my God, people wishing death.
Why can't we kill babies?
Yeah.
They don't.
I want to murder my babies. Mark Elias, the leading Democrat elections lawyer, said immediately after Abbott signed the bill that he had filed a lawsuit on behalf of a group of Texas organizations challenging the law, arguing it violates the Voting Rights Act. The lawsuit says that new Texas law contains provisions intended to impose a particular burden on Texas's black and Latino. This is what they do. This is what they do. Like, black and Latino people, are you not sick of being used as pawns in this political gambit? And I know if it was me, I would get tired of these people sitting there. It's like, you're disproportionately affecting these people over here, and you're sitting there. It's like, wait, what do you mean? It's like, well, they don't know how to use the internet, and they don't know how to go get an ID. And it's like, dude, like, I watch Pornhub, and then I use my ID to buy alcohol. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
when you voted, what did you do? You went and voted, right?
Yeah.
What did you do? You stand in line?
Yeah. Well, actually, no. There weren't a lot of people there, but yeah, I fucking gave my ID and fucking boom.
Super easy.
Yeah, went in there, punched the little thing. It was all the candidates and electronic shit, and even I didn't trust that.
Super easy.
I didn't trust that. I didn't feel like it was secure. Like I just didn't.
Really?
I didn't like it. So it was just one of those things. But
I did my ballot. Did all the things that printed out my ballot. I looked at it, made sure it was the person that I voted for.
I think we got a customer up front. So just somebody walked by.
Oh yeah.
The lawsuit says that the new Texas law contains provisions intended to impose blah, 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 blah. SB 1 is an appalling anti-democracy effort by Texas Republicans to construct barriers to voting for people they believe will not support them. Eric Holder, oh God, Eric Holder's back in the news. You got to love this. Eric Holder, the U.S. Attorney General under then President, and for those that don't remember Eric Holder, he was the one that says, when they go low, we kick them. When they go low, we kick them. If y'all don't remember who that was, a Democrat espousing violence, supposedly that we're not supposed to do. But he was that was Eric Holder, the U.S. Attorney General under then President Barack Obama, who said if you want your doctor, you can keep him. Said in a statement, what makes this bill and similar ones Republicans are pushing across the country even more un-American is that Republicans are using the big lie about the 2020 elections as pretext to support them. Okay, remove the 2020 big lie, as you call it, but why wouldn't you still be in favor of stricter voting processes to ensure that the voting is done correctly and for only American citizens? Like, that's what I don't understand. I mean, I do understand why. Democrats, again, the balance is in their favor right now. Why would you want to tip the balance? SB 1 is an appalling anti-democracy effort by Texas Republicans to construct barriers to voting for people they believe will not support them. Eric Holder, U.S. Attorney General. Okay. In part because Democratic initiation or inattention to state-level races has allowed Republicans to build majorities in legislative chambers in many otherwise competitive states. Democrats have proven unable to mount a forceful response this year to the tide of voting restrictions in GOP-led state houses. And guess what? That's called democracy, and if you don't like it, tough shit. Like, you sit there and you tell us to accept the 2020 elections with Biden, and then at local levels, when it's like GOP controlled, you say it's not fair. But democracy has reigned, and you don't get your way, and now you don't think it should be law. I don't understand this logic. I don't. But then again, these are liberals. This is what they do. You just read this shit, and it makes your blood boil, because you're like, you motherfucking pieces of shit, dude. Like, you pieces of shit. It blows my mind at this point. CNN Politics comes out. Justice Department readying legal challenge to Texas abortion ban. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a very, very serious ordeal. Now, I'm not trying to worry people here, but I'm just going to basically say what comes to my mind. It's that right now, the Biden administration is considering legal action. I think they are going to do it. They're considering legal action towards Texas's heartbeat bill, which is going to turn it into a federal versus state legal fight. If we are for the most part, I think most people are in favor of states' rights. If you sit there and you challenge at the federal level how Texas is to run, how Texas decides to do things, we get into a federal versus state fight here. Now, this also was what partially led to the American Civil War, when you have federal government coming in and mandating what states are supposed to do, states' rights, essentially. Now, again, you can argue the semantics over why the American Civil War was fought, but the premise is that you sit there and you have the federal government stepping in, trying to tell state-level legislators that you can't do this, when democracy has been practiced, and that's the outcome. And if the federal government doesn't like it, then they're going to try and stop it. Now you've got an overreach of power, and now the scales are tipped. This is dangerous. This is insanely dangerous. To have the federal government come in and say, if you don't do things how we liked it, your state's rights are invalid. It doesn't matter. Democracy at the state level is crucial. If it is undermined at the federal level, they're already going too far with this. They're already going way too far with this. It just blows my mind how openly I think America is about to hit a tipping point. I really do. If this continues, I sincerely feel there's going to be violence. And it's only escalating because we're going to get to an article where Biden is talking about COVID restrictions. He's coming out. He's supposed to make the announcement today. They're speculating on what it's about. And I think hopefully by this afternoon's show, was it a customer?
Yeah.
Sweet. Hopefully by this afternoon on Austin Peterson, when he comes on, we'll actually have more about what Biden is going to say. But right now there's speculation about his 6-point COVID plan. But we're going to cover that here in a second. Justice Department readying legal challenges to state abortion ban. The Biden Justice Department is readying legal action to challenge the restrictive Texas abortion law, a department official tells CNN. The official would not say on what basis the lawsuit would be based upon, but department lawyers have been challenged to find a potential legal recourse. Again, when the feds get involved in state-level legislation, you've got a problem. You've got a serious problem. The DOJ has been exploring legal avenues for challenging the 6-week abortion ban in Texas after the U.S. Supreme Court last week declined a request by clinics to block the law from going into effect. Texas law was designed specifically with the goal of making it more difficult for clinics to obtain federal court orders blocking enforcement of the law. Instead of creating criminal penalties for abortions conducted after a fetal heartbeat is detected, the Texas legislature has tasked private citizens with enforcing the law by bringing private litigation against clinics and anyone else who assists a woman in obtaining abortion after 6 weeks. Since the law went into effect, clinics across Texas have stopped offering abortions after 6 weeks or have shuttered altogether. Oh, damn, you don't get to murder babies.
I know.
It's a lot of lives saved.
Merrick Garland wants to go out and just punch a baby right in the face. Hates them. Hates babies.
This is where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. So the DOJ is going to try and go after Texas.
Good luck.
This is going to get bad. This is going to get so bad. Imagine what's going to happen if the feds come in and tell Texas you can't do this. What's Texas going to do? That's because once you see the courts are stacked and they're not going to give you a fair and impartial verdict, bro, it's getting to that point. It's really getting to that point. Like, people seeing this, more people are getting involved, and they're like, this is fucking bullshit. This government is so out of just touch.
Like 6 weeks, so they can have, a woman can go out and have an abortion right up until the point of delivery in some states. Mm-hmm. And everybody's perfectly fine with that.
I think Ralph Northam was even saying that he was in favor after the birth.
Right. Like, set the baby, make it comfortable, have a discussion. Yep. Should we kill it? Mm-hmm. Should we kill the baby?
Yep. I think Beto was on that one too.
Anybody who
fucking
thinks
scumbags.
that's okay,
they're murderers.
Should not be in charge of anything.
Yeah. Blackface himself. Blackface comes out there and says, "Oh, we should be able to murder
you're a
child."
Psychopath.
Should be able to murder a child post-birth.
Post-birth.
Like literally the baby comes out of the vagina and he's still like, yeah, we should still be able to kill it. Like,
anybody that agrees with abortion, you should watch an abortion being done.
100%. Like, for some reason, I guess, for most people, it's like, no, they should be able to abort while it's still in the womb. It's like, so I guess the passing through the vaginal canal suddenly changes the definition of life versus non-life. Like, that's news to me.
When there's a heartbeat, that's life. That's life.
Yeah. Well,
so whether you like it or...
And people, they argue the semantics of this in regards to, like, what actually is life. Is a sperm by itself life? Is, like, cellular life? Or is when the sperm merges with the egg, is that the creation of life?
At conception.
Yeah.
Life starts at conception.
You could say that.
You can say it because it's science.
Mm-hmm. So like, it's just like when people
if you found some cells, a clump of cells over on Mars,
which they already do, they already call that life.
So that would be life.
But that's why we weaponize science to fit our political narrative. Because when it goes against or contrary to what we want in regards to shirking off personal responsibility, suddenly the definition starts getting changed.
The only argument you can possibly make is if there's, rape or incest
or life of the mother. Yeah, 100%.
Right. So
100%.
Those would be legitimate arguments. But going all the way up until before having a baby. The baby comes out a viable baby, and you can have a baby at 8 weeks, 12 weeks, not 8 weeks, but pretty early. Like they've been. There's room there.
It's just we're gonna watch this unfold. We're gonna see what happens here, and then again with the state elections coming up for governor, It's going to be interesting to see what happens, because I know Alan West will probably back all of what Greg Abbott has done. I mean, Abbott's done. He's done good with these recent things. It's just like, what the fuck took you so long, man?
Yeah.
I'm tired of waiting for re-elections to hit before anything actually gets done.
Before the fireworks really start
exactly.
going. Like, hit the ground running.
100%. I mean, you look at DeSantis. Like, DeSantis was kicking ass long before.
Yeah.
Like, Abbott just saw what DeSantis was doing. Was like, fuck. You got like Kristi Noem up there, like just leading the charge.
Yeah.
Like, we're not closing down. We're not doing man. Like, go fuck yourself. She has more balls than fucking Greg Abbott does.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I don't think Alan would have.
You don't think Alan would have closed?
I don't think he would have closed down the state to start off with.
I don't know, man. I think Kristi was the only one that didn't.
Yeah, I don't think Alan West would. I mean,
think so?
I've heard him. He's spoken at my church before, and just listening to him,
Mm-hmm.
you know, he's pretty hardcore when it comes to that stuff, just individual liberty and freedoms. So he's got my vote.
This one comes to us from New York Post. We didn't really have time to discuss it yesterday because we had Andy's interview, but Portland, Oregon, to cut trade travel with Texas amid abortion law outrage. Ladies and gentlemen, you do not have the power to tell citizens where they can and cannot go in America.
Yeah.
You do not have the power to do that. The fact that government, that council, that city council thinks they can pull that, we're just not going to trade and people can't go there. Like, wow. The balls on that's oh my God. These leaders deserve a fucking guillotine. They do. Like, I'm sorry, they do. This is insane to me. Imagine telling Americans you can't go to this state because we don't agree with their laws. That's a personal citizen's right to choose. These leaders are fucking scumbags. Scumbags. The city of Portland, Oregon announced it intends to ban trade and travel to the state of Texas in response to the Lone Star State's new abortion law. See how well that does for you. Well, I mean, secondly, what does that mean? Like, we don't, like, Antifa's not allowed here anymore? Like, okay, I mean, but still. I mean, that's a joke, but even still, this is insanity. To sit there and tell citizens you can't go to Texas, go fuck yourself. Like, go fuck yourself. That's just mind-boggling to me. You can't go to America, but you can't go to Texas because we don't like their laws.
Now imagine being a conservative or Republican or a libertarian that lives up in Oregon. Mm-hmm. Like, okay.
Yeah, go fuck yourself. Like, no. What are you going to do to me? Mayor Ted Wheeler announced Friday that the city council intends to vote on an emergency resolution Wednesday to stop the city's future procurement of goods and services from and city employees' business travel to the state of Texas. The resolution will be in effect until Texas ends the law or it is overturned. It's not exactly clear what such a ban would look like. City legal counsel is currently evaluating the legal aspects of this proposal. The legal aspects of banning trade and travel from, like, wow. Again, I'm telling you, when states start turning on states, this will lead to a civil war. This will lead to a civil war. When the federal government steps in and says, we're going to start trying to regulate what you can and cannot do as a state at local democracy levels, and then other states get involved, this would lead to civil war. Mm-hmm. If all red states started turning on blue states and vice versa, and we start restricting trade, we are all going to suffer. This is not going to promote any type of individualistic belief. We're all going to suffer. But instead, what you should be doing is you respect the state's rights to do what they want. There's blue states out there that you can still go and get an abortion at. Then go there. But as for Texas, it's not allowed here. We have constitutional carry now where you don't need a permit to carry a gun, that's how it should be. That's the Second Amendment. And people don't like that. So what they're going to try and do is gang up and economically attack. Scumbags. Fuck that city. Fuck that mayor. The Portland City Council stands unified in its belief that all people should have the right to choose if and when they carry a pregnancy, and the decisions they make are complex, difficult, and unique to their circumstances. Then that's how you rule it in your city. But to sit there and try and force your views on other people because you don't like them in a different state that you have no local legal jurisdiction in, like that, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? It's mind-boggling to me. It's insanity. It bans all abortions on a fetal heartbeat once a fetal heartbeat can be detected, which is typically about 6 weeks after conception and before many women are aware they're pregnant. Additionally, the uniquely Additionally and uniquely, the law allows for private residents to bring legal action against anyone who assisted in terminating the that's basically empowering your citizens to say, hey, if somebody's violating the law, report them. Mm-hmm. You do the same for a burglary. You do the same for if you see it. Like if I'm driving and I see a drunk driver swallowing, I call the cops. It's like, hey, you got this dude license plate. He's swerving all over the place. He needs to get off the road. This dude's gonna get somebody killed. Like it's a citizen's responsibility to report those that are breaking the law. Anyone assisting in terminating the pregnancy, including those who drive a woman to the abortion appointment, citizens who win such lawsuits may be entitled to $10,000. And of course, you get the fat, ugly feminists on the States of the Capitol protest. Hands off my body. It's like, I don't think you have to worry about that. Like, I really don't. Like, you're hideous. You're unfuckable. I don't know why you're protesting, because nobody wants to fuck you. That's why half of you are gay. It's just... You look at these stories, and it's all ugly women. Like, you don't see any hot women protesting. You just don't. It's weird. 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 It's all the uggos. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's all a bunch of fat liberals.
Same ones that just want everybody to wear a mask.
Yeah. It's kind of like the ones that want to pretend like there's different genders. Like, just because you're ugly doesn't mean you're a different gender. You're just a fat, ugly woman. And the men are like fat or like beta ugly males. I mean, they really are. But, and that's why we'll never be on Fox. I don't fucking care. I just don't. I mean, it's the truth is the truth. Let's just speak the truth. Like, all these people protesting are like the fattest, ugliest ones on the left. It's always a fat uggos. Like the hot, like there's like the hot Democrat women. Like, I don't really see them out there doing these protests. I mean, they're all mentally unhinged. It's always the fat ugly ones that just nobody wants to fuck. Yeah. So what are you worried about? Like you're not gonna have a dick inside of you anytime soon. Like, at least not a flesh one. I mean, a plastic one maybe.
What was that one? The preacher's wife. There was the white lady holding up the sign about...
Oh, yeah. And then the black lady comes up and fucking owns her ass. Oh, yeah.
And then, sure enough, tucks tail, runs away.
Yep. Fat and ugly. Oof.
You're saying I can't have an abortion after 6 weeks? Blah, blah. Put your mask on while I eat my Krispy Kreme because of my health. Blah, blah, blah.
You fat fucking worthless fucks. Bunch of fucking losers. The law sparked immediate outcry nationwide. The legal battles have already begun. On Friday, a Texas district judge issued a temporary restraining order against the anti-abortion group Texas Right to Life, which launched a whistleblower website asking for tips about abortions. Dude, you want to talk about like getting liberals mad? I love it. I love it. It's like just like screwing the nail into the coffin even more. It's like, oh, and by the way, if you try, citizens will report you. So be on the lookout, people. Be on the lookout. In Texas, if you see somebody trying to do it, report them. Libs big mad. They're big mad. They don't have to freaking murder babies. It's crazy. On Monday, U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland said the Justice Department would protect those seeking to obtain or provide reproductive health services under a federal law known as the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act. Garland said in a statement, and meanwhile, the same party is like, if you don't get your vaccine, you should be denied health care.
And when asked about people left in Afghanistan, he said, we've got bigger fish to fry.
We got bigger problems.
There's babies to be murdered. Look,
oh my God.
We got
it's not funny, but it is.
We got a whole mess of babies that we got to kill.
We got your boys. We got to freaking chop the heads off. We got to rip the fucking brains out, scramble the brains.
Guys in Afghanistan. We told them.
We told them to get out. They want to do it. But we got babies to murder. We got more important things.
We got babies to murder, elections to rig. Got this black fella in California trying to take over.
We got to go do some hate crimes up in California. We got to come on, man. Come on. Like, this is ridiculous. Most we got babies to murder. We got guys. We got to go. We got babies to murder. You know, it happened 4 or 5 days ago. We'll stop paying attention to Afghanistan. It's over.
Got a couple generations we're trying to wipe out.
You know what? Here's the thing: if Democrats want to murder their own, part of me is kind of like, well, fucking, it's less liberals we got to worry about. But it's still the right to life of a child is the right to life of a child. Well, come on. Florida may be considering a similar abortion ban. Fuck yes.
I think North Dakota was. Kristi Noem was looking at their laws too.
I love it. I love it. Hey. If a state's red, embrace the red. If you don't like it, fucking leave the state. That's how it should be.
Yep.
So if you want to fucking go get abortion, go to California. Just duck the wildfires and shit and all the homeless and hypodermic needles. And all the fat blue-haired feminists. Whew, unfuckable. Just really unfuckable. I mean, seriously, I hate to keep harping on this, but you see these protesters, 9 times out of 10, they're fucking ugly. Like, they're hideous. Like, I understand why you're so mad at life in the Republican Party because nobody wants to fuck you. You just need some good dick and you'll feel better. Like seriously, and all these beta males that are out there and they simp for them, they're like just hunched over like little Quasimodos walking behind these overweight women in like their sandals where they have like the cankles hanging out and the varicose veins and shit like that. Like, fuck me, dude. Like, I don't know what dude in his right mind would want to stick his meat stick and fucking crazy like that. I don't get it. I don't get it. And they have the audacity to worry about abortion. Like, nobody, like, who are you fucking? Like, who is really going to blow their fucking load up and crazy?
It's impressive that they get off the couch to be able to make these.
That's about the
protests.
only time. Yeah, that's about the only time. And majority of which are doing so without a mask. They're doing it, without being in 6 feet proximity, or while being within that line. The insanity.
What a world.
What a world. I wake up every day and thank God that I was not born a Democrat. I really am. I cannot imagine embracing that type of mentality or perspective, that your standards are so hypocritical and they don't even align with each other. It's just hypocrisy on both ways. It just, wow. I can't even imagine.
The culture really changed from, I don't know, the past 25 years to where it was the Democrats and liberals would buck the system, and it's completely reversed.
Yep.
I mean, now you have conservatives and libertarians that want less government regulation, less government in our lives.
Yeah.
And you have the Democrats now that want more government, more evasive programs. It's like, okay, when did that happen?
Things have changed. This coming out. This is going to be dangerous, ladies and gentlemen. I think Biden's going to make the announcement later on today. This is coming from Fox News. Biden's 6-prong COVID-19 plan includes vaccine and mask mandates. Preview of Thursday's speech. He's watching Australia and he's taking notes from them.
And what's the price tag on it? What's the price tag he's going to put on this thing?
Right now, I think he's asking for $6 million for the Afghan refugees.
$6 million?
Is it $6 million or $6 billion?
I've never heard him ask anything.
They're pushing for it now because I just read the article. Like he's pushing to get funding for these Afghan refugees, and it's I think it's millions. I think it came down to, I think it was like 95,000 refugees they were talking about, and it came out to like total it's like 64,000 per refugee is what he's wanting. That's taxpayer money right there. And by the way, majority of, or I shouldn't say majority, but a lot of which were not properly vetted. So we could literally be taking our tax dollars and paying for Taliban.
Yeah,
literally could be doing that, lady. That's not speculating. That's a very high probability that's actually going to happen. Meanwhile, we got homelessness in California. I mean, we are so concerned about like dealing with other people's shit. Meanwhile, America needs a lot of work. We're going to invest in getting your car some new rims, but meanwhile, we're driving a piece of shit fucking Buick over here, and we're just going to ignore that. It's still running, still racking up like $7-8 trillion in debt, but we're going to worry about your car.
We're creeping up on $30 trillion in our national deficit.
It's fucking nuts.
Just writing checks. All these people who are saying, "Oh, we got to get a hold of the deficit," voting for Biden. Like, oh, okay,
that's great.
All right, dummy. Great. Now what?
Oh my God,
you big dummy.
The big dummy. President Biden's 6-pronged plan to fight COVID-19 will include, and the reason Biden's rolling this out is he needs to deflect from Afghanistan. He needs to get something that's going to rally Democrats to his side. And right now that we know Democrats are all in favor of restricting access to health care, to society, to the economy, because they feel like their health is in jeopardy. Meanwhile, the overwhelming majority of which are fat as fuck. You're already unhealthy, and suddenly you just give a shit about your health when immediate death could be a potential thing that you face, even though it's not. You've got a 99% survivability chance, but whatever. We're going to ignore that. The White House has tested all week that the president will detail his 6-pronged plan to battle COVID-19 pandemic as cases rise in many parts of the country because of the more contagious Delta variant. Those prongs will be vaccine requirements, booster shots, keeping schools open, increasing testing and requiring masks, economic recovery, and improving patient care. The initial list of the president's plan is very light on details. It's not clear, for example, exactly who the president is going to call on to require masks. It's going to be the federal government. It's going to be federal employees. That's all he can have jurisdiction over. It's going to be the feds, which I think they were already talking about doing that. Because remember, Biden got caught up when he first took presidency, it was a requirement in the White House, and then he's doing these interviews and he's not wearing a mask. It's like, bro, what the fuck? You're being a hypocrite here. Like the Biden yesterday doing the little press briefing with old Chuck Schumer. Biden's not wearing a mask, and they're all gathered around here. There was no social distancing.
Yeah.
So these very same leaders that want to enforce these lockdowns, these very same leaders that want to enforce these mask mandates are not doing it they themselves. Gavin Newsom wasn't doing it. Biden is not doing it. Pelosi had the dinner out of Martha's Vineyard. She wasn't doing it. Barack Obama has his $1 million party with all these celebrities. No masks. The same leaders that are calling on you to do this, that are going to try and impede your life and challenge your way of living, are they themselves not doing it, ladies and gentlemen? They're not doing it. And here's the thing. You don't get to go back and change, say, okay, we need to start doing it now. Like, you've held this stance since the beginning of COVID, and then suddenly you stopped caring. You got mask fatigue, and now that the Delta variant's hit, now you suddenly start caring again. At least have some consistency in your hypocrisy. At least have that.
Yeah, right. Jerks.
It's similarly unclear who the president will be asking to impose vaccine mandates. Currently, most vaccine mandates are coming from employers rather than governments, and this is what Biden's pushing for. Basically, in the article I read, he's saying that the federal government needs to set the standard and the requirement of employees to be vaccinated. He's wanting private businesses to do that. As owners of Shell Shock, you can go suck my dick.
Yeah.
And death to tyrants. Fuck you.
There's like 3/4 of the people would quit their jobs if their employer said, you got to get a vaccine.
Mm-hmm. Potentially indicating where Biden will go on vaccine mandates, the president will sign an these fucking executive orders, man. I've been telling Republicans this all during the Trump presidency. These executive orders are going to bite you in the ass. This needs to go away.
There should be a limited number of executive orders that you get.
Totally circumvents Congress.
You've got 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
You get 3. That's it.
All you get is 3.
Yep.
Use them wisely.
It's like timeouts in football. You better use it wisely, bro.
Yep. That's exactly how it should be.
Potentially indicating where Biden will go with vaccine mandates, the president will sign an executive order Thursday requiring federal workers and contractors to be vaccinated. Fox News confirmed per source familiar with the plans. The source noted that this mandate is essentially an extension of previous mandates the Defense Department, Department of Veteran Affairs, and the Indian Health Service and National Institute of Health were already in the process of implementing. Those mandates covered about 2.5 million people. Good luck with that. I mean, if you want to work for the feds, you want to work for the federal government, you got to be vaccinated. Okay, fair enough. It's their business. They get to do what they want, I guess, which I think is bullshit. That part's bullshit. But to sit there and like encourage business owners, like, get the fuck out of here. Also breaking, this is worrisome right here. Biden administration tells ex-Trump officials to resign from military academy advisory boards or be dismissed. You want to talk about now brainwashing your military into your leftist ideologies and philosophies? Because right now the officer corps is predominantly liberal. These officers go to school and they're trained in these liberal indoctrination campuses, and they go into the force and they try and spread that bullshit on enlisted troops that for the overwhelming majority are conservative based. This is Biden's way of doing that even to higher echelons. Like your advisors at these training facilities are now going to be Biden appointees. And he's saying he's going after all Trump appointees.
Biden or China's appointees.
Exactly.
This is China Joe.
It is China Joe. The Biden administration has told 11 officials appointed to the Military Service Academy of Advisory Boards by former President Donald Trump to resign or be dismissed, a source familiar with the situation tells CNN's K-File. The officials asked to resign include prominent former Trump officials like former White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer, former senior counsel to the president Kellyanne Conway, and former National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster. They were appointed to the advisory boards of the Naval Academy, Air Force Academy, and West Point, respectively. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki on Wednesday afternoon confirmed the request had been made. And I think Sean Spencer actually posted it on his Twitter. I read the thing. It basically said, "Hey, you have until the end of the day to resign, or you'll be terminated." Mm-hmm. And Spicer, I think he's supposed to go on, or if he did already, I'm not sure. But he was basically to address it with the White House. And yeah, this is where we're at. Psaki added, "I will let others evaluate whether they think Kellyanne Conway and Sean Spencer and others were qualified or not political to serve on these boards. But the president's qualifications requirements are not your party registration. They are whether you're qualified to serve and whether you're aligned with the values of this administration." And that last part, whether you're aligned with the values of this administration, that's what matters the most. So it has nothing to do with competence or performance. It's a matter of your political alignment. Hence why they picked 11 previously appointed Trump people. Mm-hmm. It has nothing to do with whether or not they can do the job. It's a matter of their political alignment, and that's what's sad about it. Mm-hmm. That's what's sad. Now, to be fair, I think Trump would have done the same thing. Wouldn't have made it right either. It's like, are they able to do the fucking job?
Probably not. I think most politicians are scumbags.
Well, they're going to go in there and going to stack it. They're going to stack it how they want. But this is concerning because now we're at the point where the military, you get all liberal military, all liberals supporting, and now you've got your fighting force to enforce your mandates that the people will resist, and now you got the military on your side. These are scary times, ladies and gentlemen. These are scary fucking times. Like, I need to actually go to the store and pick up on ammunition. Like, I really do. Like, I don't have enough. God forbid. God forbid. I need more ammo. I'm not saying we're doing anything, but I'm just saying for the range target practice, I'm out of ammo. I'm low on it. I need to improve on that. I am not making any veiled threats here whatsoever. Fuck the government.
Is a bazooka legal?
Is a bazooka? Yeah. When I saw that tweet, I died laughing. Is a bazooka illegal? Who? That was that Dallas douchebag. That fat fucker. Oh, that was back in like what 2015, 2016. Yeah. Is a bazooka illegal? Literally going on the fucking on the news and saying that. Oh my gosh. Arizona divesting from Ben & Jerry's over anti-Semitic Israel boycott. This benefits nobody. This is stupid. This is stupid. Arizona is divesting all public funds from what public funds are going to Ben & Jerry's to begin with, though? That's what I'm worried about. Arizona is divesting all public funds from Ben & Jerry's over the ice cream giant's anti-Semitic decision to stop sales in Israel settlements and the West Bank and Eastern Jerusalem. Okay, look, this is a business's right to do whatever the fuck they want to do. Is it anti-Semitic? Yeah, I think potentially it could be, but they also have to explain why. If it's based upon Israel's stances politically and nothing to do with the religion, then it's not anti-Semitic. It's just the criticisms of Israel's policies. That's not anti-Semitic. We have to stop conflating these two things. But again, it's Breitbart. They lean right. So I think a lot of people are going to try and conflate being against national policy with being against Jewish people.
Yeah.
So that's a slippery slope right there. To say this is anti-Semitic, I mean, I forget what Ben & Jerry's actually said. I think it was something along the lines of they don't believe that Israel should be in Palestine or something. I forget what it was. And I don't think it was anti-Semitic based.
I don't know.
I could be wrong on that one.
I think they're just playing by the left's rules.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know,
they're
I mean, if the left is going to call you racist, then
yeah, absolutely.
Then you have every right to point out their hypocrisy.
Yeah.
So.
But I mean, the right does it. I mean, but like make no buts about it. There is a rise of anti-Semitism in this country. Like there is, and I see it on the right as well. I see a lot of people out there like say, "Oh, you're supporting Jewry and all this shit." I'm just like, "Holy shit!" Oh, bro, if you go on Twitter, you go, "Is she farting?"
Oh my god, dude.
Athena is.
She just crop dusted me.
Oh my baby. Athena's laying right here now. I love this dog. She's the best dog ever. But yeah, to conflate these two things of like, again, the criticisms of Israel's politics versus the religious based, it's like these are two different things. One is actually anti-Semitism. One's saying, I just don't agree with Israel's policy. That does not make you an anti-Semite. But Arizona is divesting all public funds from Ben & Jerry's over the ice cream giant's anti-Semitic decision to stop sales in Israel settlements in the West Bank and Eastern Jerusalem. The article actually reads, as Arizona treasurer, I have divested all state funds from Ben & Jerry's for boycott. Okay, what state funds? I want to know what state funds are going towards a private business.
And how do we find out how to get state funds?
How do we get state funds for Shell Shock CBD? That's what I want to know. Yeah. Why are there state funds going towards a private business? And again, this is another example. If this is true, this is another example of corporatism. This isn't capitalism. This is corporatism. The government has no business, unless it's like the government is buying Ben & Jerry's to staff, and it's like it's buildings, which... I mean, that's such a slippery slope. But this is stupid. I'm sorry. This is ignorance. If Ben & Jerry's wants to do that, then that's their prerogative to do it. But these states trying to come back, like I think Florida was talking about saying we're going to ban Ben & Jerry's. It's like, no, absolutely not. You should not be allowed to ban shit.
Yeah, as a state or the government, you can't ban anything. But people, you don't want to buy it, don't buy it.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to boycott it, go boycott it. But this whole state's getting involved. This benefits nobody. Like, I wish people could wake up and see this, because people are like, oh, yeah, take that, liberals. Oh, wait a minute. It's just more government power. Shit.
Yeah.
That's how they do it, ladies and gentlemen. Both sides. It's they pit you against each other, and they say, hey, we're going to step in and infringe on your rights, but it's because we're going after the left. It's like, well, yeah, okay. Infringe me harder, daddy. Like, what? Like, to sit there and be like, wait, no, you do not have the power to tell me what I can and can't fucking buy. It's fucking ice cream. But this is what these companies do. They throw their hats in the political arena to try and drive sales up to, again, they feel like the left is the majority. They're pandering to the majority. That's what they feel like they're going to do. Nike did it with Colin Kaepernick because they know that majority of Nike's customers are black people. Black people, by and large, statistically shown, Ben Shapiro went over these facts, are the main consumers of clothing-based Nike products. So what are they going to do? They're going to double down. They're going to get behind Kaepernick, and they're going to double down on their stance, and it's going to increase consumership from the black community. That's all they're doing here. You think these people actually give a fuck about a cause? They're playing the political gambit to get more sales. That's all they're doing. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. As Arizona Treasurer, I've divested all state funds from Ben & Jerry's for boycotting Israel. Yee State Treasurer Kimberly Yee announced on Twitter, Israel is and will continue to be a majority trade partner of Arizona. I stand with Israel, and I will not allow taxpayer dollars to go towards anti-Semitic discriminatory efforts against Israel. Where is this money going?
Yeah, I'd like to see where exactly how much money they're giving Ben and Jerry's over there. Like, if I was a citizen over in Arizona.
I wonder how many Israeli people actually buy Ben and Jerry's, or is this just like an optic? It's an optic thing. Like, hey, we're not selling ice cream to the Afghanis anymore. It's like, hey, you had 2 stores, and you had like maybe 3 products, and nobody bought it. Like, big whoop. You lost like maybe $100 a month in sales, possibly, but the optics make it look so fucking good. I don't know. The state's anti-BDS legislation bars public entities from doing business with an entity that boycotts. Oh my gosh. Ladies, I'm telling you on both sides, this is a stupid policy to have. The state's anti-BDS legislation bars public entities from doing business with an entity that boycotts Israel or territories under Israeli control. 32 U.S. states have similar laws. That's ridiculous. So you're not allowed to do business with somebody that the state sees as being unworthy of have business done with. Like, no, absolutely not. I do not agree with that. I do not agree with that. That's saying that, and the other part of it, and the reason I feel it's like such a slippery slope is because you could easily transform that into, I perceive you as being a racist. Therefore, I should not allow anybody to do business with you. But you might not be a racist. I mean, it's like Democrats call Republicans like hardcore racists. Like, we're actually not. But then Democrats states repeating that so much that people buy into the hype and the lie and the belief, and then they come hit you with legislation saying, well, we're not going to do business, and other people will not be allowed to do business with open racists. Like, where have I said anything racist? Well, the overwhelming majority feels like this is tyranny by the majority in a sense, or potentially it could be. This is a horrible road to go down, and it leads to nothing good. Both sides suffer. All that's being done is used as a club to hit the other side, but the people don't understand or realize like that club's going to come back and pop you too. Last month, Ben & Jerry's announced it would no longer sell ice cream in what is called the occupied Palestinian territory, presumably referring to Jewish settlements in the West Bank and Eastern Jerusalem. Yee sent a letter last week to Ben & Jerry's parent company, Unlever PLC, in which it gave an ultimatum to either divest itself from the ice cream company or reverse the decision. Arizona is one of 8 states currently investigating whether state-level anti-BDS laws are applicable over the Ben & Jerry's Israel boycott, the Haaretz tells Daily Reporter. A recent report by the New York Post accused Anurda Mitala, Ben & Jerry's board chair and one of the chief architects of the Israel boycott, of funneling money from the company to her own pro-Palestine nonprofit. I don't see anything wrong with that, though. Like, if it's your company and you want to support a nonprofit, that I don't understand what's wrong with that. Unless they're, like I said, no, there's just no other way to. I don't see a problem with that. I don't personally support it, but don't sit there and come and tell me that, like, a Shell Shock CBD, we can't divert company funds. I think it's the use of the word divert, like it like has this bad connotation. It's like, oh, they diverted funds. Like, well, we could potentially divert funds to a pro-life nonprofit. Like, what the fuck's wrong with that? There's nothing illegal about that. We have every right to do that as a private business. I mean, we don't, but it's one of those things of. Everyone should have the fucking right to do that.
Yeah.
You own the business. You the baller. You shot caller, bro. It's your business. Do what you want. The government stepping in saying you should not be allowed to do this, regardless if it is good or bad. Like, no. Absolutely not. I disagree. Arizona is one of 8 states currently investigating whether the state level of a recent while Israel's leaders have spoken out against the decision, calling it anti-Semitic and a form of terrorism. Oh, my God. Terrorism is the use of violence to subjugate people or to enforce a political or religious ideology. That's not terrorism. Sorry, Israel, you got that one wrong. We're not going to sell ice cream in Israel. That's terrorism. No, that's not. That's not terrorism. This is the problem with like identity or politics in general, is that we use inaccurate adjectives and things such as that to describe things we disagree with, and then the words lose all sense of the meaning. Like, this is terrorist. Like, no. And then they even describe the abortion ban here in Texas as like terrorism. Like, how is that terrorism? It's not killing anybody. It's actually saving lives. It's the exact opposite. Like, how the fuck is that terrorism? And it doesn't even utilize violence to... Oh, my God. Even though it undoubtedly knew the response would be swift and powerful, Ben & Jerry's took the step to align its business and operations with its progressive values, they wrote soon after the boycott was announced.
Changing lives one scoop at a time.
One scoop at a time.
Look.
And meanwhile, this coming...
friends.
Yeah. I mean, look, if we're going to get into this conversation of things that should be mandated and banned for the sake of public health, Ben & Jerry's should be banned. Like, again, it's like 75% of Americans by 2030 are going to be projected to being like almost 75% obesity rate. So if we care so much about American health, start banning the fat foods.
Yep.
Oh, well, then the fat fucks out there are like, oh, no. Like,
change your recipe.
No.
Change your recipe.
Change the recipe. Less sugar. I'm telling you. Like,
killing people. How many lives have been lost because people can't kick their Ben & Jerry's addiction?
I don't know. It's a good point. We have to run a study on that, a government-funded study. Let's use our taxpayer money to pay for that.
I mean, we could probably look right now and find out how much sugar is in one pint.
Absolutely. I mean, I eat ice cream all the time.
Yeah, sure.
But I also exercise. But I'm not going to sit there and call for bans on shit. I also chew tobacco, so I'm a hypocrite in that aspect. I'll admit that. But to sit there and say that we should ban stuff because it's not good for us, that's the human being's right to choose.
Right. It's your right to choose. No.
I think we tried that in like the early 1900s with the Prohibition, like in 1912, I think it was. And people were like, okay, we're just going to start making it on ourselves. And moonshine and bootleggers and,
Hey, in prison, you can make toilet wine.
You got those speakeasy places. I mean, I kind of long for a time where it's like you got to go to this underground little thing and you got like the little the jazz blues band playing in the corner. And everybody's like, where are you from? You want a drink? You ain't a cop, are you?
You want some toilet wine?
Want some toilet wine? We're murdering babies back here. Biden administration on the sidelines as Americans trapped in Afghanistan, get this, get Taliban permission to leave. That's the state we're in, ladies and gentlemen. That's the state of affairs that we are currently in. We had to get the Taliban's permission to let Americans leave Afghanistan. Oh, how the mighty have fallen, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. We just got bitch slapped. Like, everybody, and I love it. And you want to talk about such a series of changes in our country. Like, I'm seeing all these tweets and about this article saying the Taliban are dog walking Joe Biden. Never in my life would I actually be like laughing with the Taliban at our presidency, but we are seeing people now side with the Taliban over our presidency, which is just, it's baffling to me. It's mind-boggling.
It's a stark difference.
From the Trump administration.
Yeah.
Well, shit, even from the Obama administration. Like, there hasn't been an administration during this
Obama just let out a bunch of terrorists from Guantanamo Bay.
Four of those terrorists right now, you can go look, this is real, this is true. 4 of those terrorists that were released out of the 5 to trade for that piece of shit Bo Bergdahl, who they should have murdered, they were just put up in the new Taliban government. Yeah. 4 of them. The very same 4, not the 5, there was 5, but 4 of them have been put into positions of leadership in the new Taliban government. Good job, Obama. Press isn't going to touch that one.
Yeah, that's what makes me think that Obama's probably calling the shots. Joe's just an empty head.
It's just mind-blowing to me at this point, ladies and gentlemen. I am so over this. We traded 5 terrorists for a piece of shit dessert that should have had his head chopped off.
Yep.
For those that don't know who Bo Bergdahl was, he essentially grabbed a bunch of intelligence and shit like that, walked off his base, was captured by the Taliban. I think he lived with them for I forget how long. They kept him alive. He gave them secrets, told them all kinds of shit. And then a lot of good men, died looking for him. They were killed in action looking for that piece of shit. And then President Obama goes out there and he trades 5 fucking terrorists, 5 Taliban heads out of Guantanamo to get Bergdahl back. And then Bergdahl's family, you can clearly tell the acorn doesn't fall from the tree. Like, long-haired, hippie-looking, just drug-dealing, meth-looking motherfucker. Just, oh my gosh, man. You just look at this. And it's mind-blowing to me. But these 4 of those Talibans are now in positions of power in the Taliban government.
That's just that administration.
That's politics, man.
That's the Democrats.
Why would you ever want to fight for this country with this administration or people like that? Why the fuck would you ever want to do that? He left Americans behind in Afghanistan. Obama traded 5 world-renowned Taliban leaders for that piece of, like, just the politics are so disgusting. And if you're a service member listening to this, these are things you should be paying attention to because this is the current administration you're serving. So when you come into my DM saying, John, they might force me to get the jab. I don't know if I want to get out or not. This is the administration you're serving. You really want to fucking serve these pieces of shit? These tyrants?
Do you think they're trying to push out military service members right now?
I think they're honestly trying to purge the military to make it a more Biden-leaning type of group.
So if that happens, then what? So let's say Joe Biden's pretty deep in with China. So now China has an advantage to come in. Our military's completely inundated with.
I don't know about that. I mean, I wouldn't see it as like the military would just turn over if China tried to invade. I mean, you'd have public outcry. I don't think it would go that far, but I do think it's very. I think it's more
concerning.
It's very concerning, but I think it's more of an internal thing, like to use and weaponize the military against American citizens. To where, say, for example. And this is not outside of the realm of possibilities. It's not. This is not conspiracy theorism. Like, you look what's going on in Australia. Everything's on the table now.
Well, look, if you have China and Russia, like 2 of our biggest adversaries, and
then now in bed with Afghanistan, Taliban,
if we have a weak
presidency, which we do,
weak presidency and a weak military, when would be a good time to invade?
I don't think it's going to be an all-out invasion. I think we're going to attack it economically. I honestly do. I think that if you really think about it, I mean, we owe China so much money. We owe them so much to attack. It would be a World War III. They don't want that. China's getting rich. They're fucking expanding. Yeah, they call American globalists. They call American expansionism and colonialism like a bad thing. You look at China. You look at Russia. They're actually doing that. I mean, America's done it as well. Let's not even kid ourselves on that. But that's what they're doing. It's Russia, China, and America. And you've got, like, you know, the UK kind of right there in the middle, like, oh, I say, oh, chap, this sucks, doesn't it? But I see China growing. The first thing they do is they say, hey, we're prepared to recognize the Taliban as the head of Afghanistan because they want to get in bed with them. I think they're going at this economically, and I'm not agreeing with it, but I'm saying if there was a way to do it, that would be the way. Instead of, like, doing an invasion and risking lives, like, no, it's like, why would you ever want to go and invade and destroy those that are in debt to you? They'd be like, again, the bank going after and attacking those that took loans from the bank. Like, you're not getting your money back if you do that. So China's going about it a different way. So they're just essentially trying to draw in more allies to China and thus isolate the U.S. and put U.S. in a very weak negotiating platform. And that's what Biden's presidency has done. That's why, you know, they did the briefing yesterday, talked about, like, the 3 rising costs of beef, poultry, and pork. And essentially it's saying, yes, we have double-digit increases on this, but, you know, maybe be a vegan. I don't know. This presidency is shit. It's garbage. Like, and I'm trying my best to be impartial here because I've tried to remain neutral on certain aspects, or at least call it from a neutrality standpoint of saying this is right, this is wrong. But I can honestly and earnestly say, looking at the 7 or 8 months of this Biden administration, this has been the most trash administration that I have ever been alive to witness. It's been the most trash administration. Mind-blowing to me. Just sincerely mind-blowing. And now we have to get Taliban permission for Americans to leave. You know what Trump would have been told them? Like, he would have told them, was like, you don't let them go. I'll bomb you back into the fucking, even further back into the Stone Age.
He's like, what? I'll be right back.
And then Jen Psaki's up there. Like, just the condescension that comes from this cunt. I fucking loathe her.
She's terrible.
She's horrible.
Completely.
Don't sit there and think for 1 second these people would not mind seeing Republicans put in a camp. I honestly believe that. Yeah. I honestly believe that. Don't think for a second they would not mind seeing fellow Americans that lean a different political way in a fucking internment camp. I could see. I look at them and I just see the swastika just appearing on their forehead. I see it. I know. You look on Twitter. Even though Twitter's a troll fest, you look at these people that are they're saying what they truly mean from private accounts about the sense like fucking, you know, death to Republicans. Like, shoot these motherfuckers. Like, damn. Oh, grab a gun and fucking say when. It's not like we're saying like, oh no. It's like, you say when. Fucking, if you want to do it like behind the grocery store, you know, right after school, let's fucking do this. Like, let's rumble. Bring your little pea shooter dildo thing. And we'll bring the fucking guns. We'll do that. I just don't think for 1 second these people would not be okay with you being in it, because they called for this. They talked about like, there was main prominent figures that were tweeting out about retraining Trump supporters in these camps. It's like, bro, like if somebody like pops you, I feel nothing for it. It's crazy how history is repeating itself right before our very eyes, and it's a slow turn up of this, and it's slowly coming to fruition, and people are still willfully ignoring it because it aligns with their political values.
Yeah.
Like if you sincerely, and I saw this floating around, it's true, if you sincerely wonder if you would have narked on the Jews back in like pre-World War II, and you're on the side that is for forced mandatory vaccinations and shit like that, you know where you would have stood. You'd be right there on the platform waving goodbye as the train cars take off. That would be you. Bold statement to say, but it's true. That would be you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just crazy to me. And then again, back to the Larry Elder thing, I'm seeing this. It's mind-blowing. But I think Biden's going to make a speech today talking about his 6-point plan to combat COVID. 8 months into this thing, good job. Like, just now you're getting to this. Like, okay, great, yeah, whatever. He's going to attack it economically. And essentially, I really have a feeling that he's going to try and freeze, and they call us anti-maskers and anti-vaccine. It's actually it's the opposite. It's saying pro-liberty. But that's what they've defined us as. That's what they try and frame the argument around. It's like, oh, you're an anti-vaxxer. It's like, no, I'm actually not. And then Jim Carrey comes out yesterday on Twitter, and I'm like, what fucking world am I living in? And Jim Carrey's talking about, like, he's attacking the vaccines. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, crazy Carrey himself.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
He's a fucking idiot. But even still,
that douchebag is part of the reason why.
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't know. I was going to say he's part of the reason why Joe Biden's in office, but just him and these other Hollywood celebrities
the Hollywood
opening
elites,
their big fucking mouths, like Dwayne Johnson.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Doing his cringiest endorsement of Joe Biden.
Yeah. He's another Hollywood elite. Like, people can sit there and, like, don't think for 1 second. Or actually, no, I think The Rock's probably more conservative than he leads on.
You know what? That guy's a douchebag.
They are. They're fucking cowards. All these Hollywood badasses that play these roles.
Had the first season of Ballers was really, really good. And then all of a sudden, second season comes around, it's like completely woke.
Fuck that.
Then by the fourth season, he's reading Elizabeth Warren's book on the beach, and I'm like, this is so funny.
Done.
Finished.
No, bro.
Hilarious.
Pocahontas herself, like, really?
Yeah,
the one that appropriated culture?
Yeah.
Okay. Whatever.
All right. Okay, Dwayne.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this episode of the All American Savage Show podcast. We've got another show coming up for you around 1 p.m. CST today with Austin Peterson coming on as my special guest. Make sure you check us out at shellshockcbd.com. Code SUB will save you 20% off of your subscription this month, and this month alone for the month of September. Check us out. This show is brought to you and sponsored by Shell Shock CBD. Josh and I are both the co-owners of this company. We want to thank you for all your love and support. Thank you for all the subscriptions and bits over on Twitch. Appreciate it. Hit that share button if you're watching on Facebook, or share the stream from Twitch. I love you. I appreciate you. And you can find the show over on SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube. It's all 4 platforms there. We're also going to be uploading videos to Rumble. We appreciate your love and support. And again, we will see you right back here in roughly about an hour and 30 minutes with Austin Peterson. It's going to be a really good interview. So, anything to add?
It's going to be great.
It's going to be so great, folks. All right, we'll see y'all back at 1:30 p.m. CST for the next episode of the All American Savage Show podcast. As always,